Pots were kept side by side. One pot had a tulsi plant, and the other had only soil. After a few days, what will you observe? This leads us to the concept of seed dispersal. If a pot with a tulsi plant is kept next to a pot with only soil, small tulsi plants may eventually grow in the soil-only pot. This happens because mature seeds from the tulsi plant fall, are blown by the wind, or are carried into the adjacent pot where they germinate. The part of the seed that grows upwards and gives rise to the shoot system is called the plumule. The part that grows downwards and gives rise to the root system is called the radicle. Insects such as grasshoppers and cockroaches have a hard body covering called an exoskeleton, which is made up of a substance called chitin. The largest seed in the world is the coco de mer, which can be up to 30 centimeters long and weigh up to 18 kilograms. Black mustard seeds are among the smallest, measuring about 1 millimeter in diameter. Most birds have nares, or nostrils, at the base of their upper beak. However, the kiwi is the only bird that has nares at the tip of its beak. A snake smells with the help of its tongue. Butterflies have taste buds on their feet, which help them find food. A kangaroo uses its hind limbs for jumping. This is an example of locomotion. The term sure-footed describes an animal that is not liable to stumble or fall. On average, we blink 15 to 20 times in a minute. When you touch something dangerous, the spinal cord instructs you to withdraw your hand immediately. This is known as a reflex action. When we sneeze, we are actually throwing foreign particles out of our body. Skin gets its color from a pigment called melanin. Skin has the ability to regenerate itself. John Dalton coined the term atom, which comes from a word meaning indivisible. Naphthalene balls gradually become smaller with time. This change is called sublimation. In the game of carom, players spread fine powder on the board to reduce friction. Biomass and geothermal energy are renewable forms of energy. During the festival, Lori, people fan the flames of a bonfire to help combustion. When the humidity is high, the air already has a lot of water in it. Our body cools down when sweat evaporates from the skin, but in humid air, sweat cannot dry easily, making us feel sticky and uncomfortable. One drop of water has billions of water molecules. The gravitational force of the Earth is equal to the force that the Earth exerts on an object. Gravitational force is all around us. Hydroenergy is a renewable, non-polluting source of energy. Aurora borealis is a pattern of differently colored lights that are sometimes seen in the night sky, mostly in the northern parts of the world. When mountaineers climb mountains like Mount Everest, they need to carry oxygen because the level of oxygen in the atmosphere becomes less as you go higher. The amount of water vapor in the air is called humidity. Humidity differs from place to place. Areas near the sea are more humid than areas near the desert. Distilled water is used in laboratories for experiments because it is the purest form of water, free from dissolved salts, minerals, and impurities. Using tap water could cause unwanted chemical reactions. Potassium permanganate crystals are added to wells to kill germs and bacteria, purify the water by destroying harmful microorganisms, remove bad smell and impurities, and help make the water safer for drinking and household use. The boiling of water is the simplest and most common method of purification. Boiling water for at least 10 minutes kills the germs present in it. This boiled water can be filtered and stored for a long time. Yuri Gagarin was the first human to journey into outer space on April 12, 1961. The first artificial satellite was the Soviet Sputnik 1, launched in 1957 by Russia. India's first artificial satellite was Aryabhata. It was named after the great Indian astronomer and launched by Russia on April 19, 1975. A shadow usually has two parts, an area of complete darkness at the center called the umbra, and an area of partial darkness at the edges called the penumbra. The umbra receives no light, while the penumbra receives some light. An annular eclipse occurs when the sun and the moon are exactly in line. Because the moon is much smaller than the sun appears like a ring or annulus surrounding the moon's outline. A planet transit occurs when a planet comes between the Earth and the Sun. Mercury and Venus are the only planets that can move between the Earth and the Sun. The word volcano comes from the name of a Roman god, Vulcan. The opening in the form of a large hole at the top of a volcanic mountain is known as a crater. The Mars Orbiter mission was launched from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. Seedlings inside a seed are called cotyledons. A seed with two cotyledons is called a dicot seed. A seed with one cotyledon is called a monocot seed. Germination is the process by which a seed produces a baby plant in the presence of water, warmth, and air. Water helps embryo growth, air is needed to breathe, and warmth activates the seed. The hypocotyl is the portion of the embryo or seedling below the cotyledons, while the epicotyl is the portion above the cotyledons. Ants have only an exoskeleton, meaning they do not have bones inside their bodies like humans. Instead, they have a hard outer covering that protects their body and supports their shape. Unpaired fins in fish help it move forward, upward, and downward. Paired fins help it steer and balance itself, while the tail and fins help the fish move forward and change direction. Migration is the seasonal movement of animals. Proboscis is a long tube in insects used for feeding. The Earth's atmosphere has several layers. Troposphere, where we breathe and weather happens. Stratosphere, containing the ozone layer. Mesosphere, where meteoroids burn up. Thermosphere, where space shuttles orbit and radio waves are reflected. And exosphere, the outermost layer merging into space. Removal of insoluble impurities from water can be done using sedimentation, filtration, and decantation. Distillation is the process of purifying water by first boiling it and then condensing the steam, involving evaporation and condensation. Distilled water is used as coolant in vehicles, batteries, inverters, science labs, and for making medicines. Water purification involves coagulation, where alum attracts dirt particles, sedimentation, where clumps settle, filtration through sand, gravel, and charcoal, and chlorination to kill germs. Boiling water for at least 10 minutes also kills germs. The moon's gravity is 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. As there is no air or water, sound cannot be heard on the moon because sound needs a medium to travel. Every night, the illuminated part grows until the full moon appears on the 15th day. Then, the illuminated part decreases until it becomes invisible on the 15th day, known as the new moon. From one new moon to another takes roughly 30 days, and this period is called a lunar month. The different shapes of the moon are called phases. Tides are changes in sea level caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun, as well as the rotation of the Earth. When tectonic plates move away from each other, their edges get stuck, and once released, waves form similar to ripples in a pond. These seismic waves make the ground tremble. The location inside the Earth where an earthquake starts is called the hypocenter. The region above the hypocenter, or the point on the Earth's surface where an earthquake starts, is called the epicenter. Aftershocks are tremors occurring after the main earthquake. A seismograph records earthquake details, and the recording is called a seismogram. The strength of an earthquake is measured as magnitude on the Richter scale, which ranges from 1 to 8. Higher magnitude means more destruction. The Richter scale classifies earthquakes by magnitude: micro, 1 to 2.9, minor, 3 to 3.9, light, 4 to 4.9, moderate, 5 to 5.9, strong, 6 to 6.9, major, 7 to 7.9, and great, 8 and above. Deep inside the Earth, High heat melts rocks into magma, which collects in magma chambers. When pressure builds, magma is pushed out through vents or fissures, causing a volcanic eruption. Once magma reaches the surface, it is called lava. Volcanoes are generally classified into three types: active or live, dormant or sleeping, and extinct. Active volcanoes have a history of regular eruptions and may erupt any time. Dormant volcanoes have not erupted for a long time, but might erupt in the future. Extinct volcanoes have almost no chance of erupting again. Active or live volcanoes have a history of regular eruptions and may erupt any time. Examples include Mount Fuji in Japan and many found in the Pacific Ocean, known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. Dormant or sleeping volcanoes have not erupted for a long time, but might erupt in the near future. Examples include Mauna Kea in the USA and Narcondam in the Andaman Islands. Extinct volcanoes have almost no chance of erupting in the future. Examples include Mount Papa in Myanmar.